Hello and welcome to iamGEEK, and this is Ryan. We're back. I'm here with my brother Chris and our good pal Katrin. We had to take a week off, and I got really sick, and I'm still sort of under the weather today. Some of the stuff popped up. I think it's just allergies, but I don't know. So I'll probably be like in the background tonight and let the other guys sort of run this thing, because I don't know how long I'll last, or if I think it's just allergies right now. I did have first off, how are you guys doing? Thanks for being here tonight.
Doing great.
Good. Doing fine.
Doing fine.
You forgot to say it's episode 107.
Oh, sorry. I thought I said that. Oh.
I don't think you did.
Well,
it didn't come at the point where I was expecting it to come.
Well, that's how out of it I am. So here's what's been going on. I won't go into all the gory details, but so my wife took my daughter to the doctor. She was stopped up and wanted to get her ears checked, making sure she wasn't getting an ear infection. So a minor thing, and this is number like 1,376 reason why I do not like going to the doctor. Took her to the doctor for this minor thing. Comes home, gets sick with hand, foot, and mouth. If you don't know what that is, it's disgusting. And we're like, where did this come from? And like you break out all over. It's
hands coming out of your mouth, feet coming out of your
mouth. Extra feet out the ears. And
it sounds like something like cows have or something, some kind of animal disease.
It kind of sounds like when you say something to somebody and you probably shouldn't have said it, so it's like you're putting your foot in your mouth. You know, it's
but it was really bad. It was really bad.
Put your hand in there too.
All appendages went in the mouth.
So if you have kids and you've had this, you know how bad it is. And so we're like, where did she get this from? Or what is this? And they took her back to the doctor, and the doctor was like, oh yeah, that's hand, foot, and mouth. And my wife was like, well, the only place she's been is here. And he was like, yeah, she probably got it here. There was a lot of cases last week.
We didn't really clean or anything.
I'm like, what in the world?
Is this a doctor's office from like the 17th century?
I don't know, but I'm like, if you have these cases coming in, like post it at the door or something, because hand, foot, and mouth is highly, highly contagious. Usually just kids get it, but adults can get it, and
of course you're gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got it. I either had hand, foot, and mouth, or I had the worst extreme case of food poisoning that I've ever had, because it hit me last Wednesday night, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we were supposed to record Thursday, and I had to shut it down. I was like, I can't do it. I had like a fever for 3 days or more. I was, it was coming out both ends. I didn't break out all the way like she did, but it felt like my throat was like, because you'll break out in your throat too, and it felt like my whole throat was just like broken out. So nasty stuff.
Sandpaper.
Yeah. So I'm just now getting where I can talk again.
Is that why they call it hand? Because you're trying to your throat's itching, so you're trying to put your hand down your mouth or your foot, something to scratch the throat.
I don't know. It was horrible. And our parents were here, and I'm like, oh, please don't let them get it. So, but that's why we missed a week. So we're sorry, listeners, that we missed a week. It was my fault. I had some plague from the 17th century or something.
Now, was the doctor wearing like an apron that was like covered in blood?
He had
holding like a saw, like a bone saw or something.
He had the cone like mask thing.
Oh, like the bird.
Yeah, the bird mask. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the mask of death. That's good. Bring out your dead.
I'm not dead yet.
And for some reason, you have no appetite with this, so I haven't really I haven't eaten. I ate something today, and that's about it. I haven't really eaten anything. So maybe it's like maybe I lost some weight. I don't know.
Probably
there
did.
You go.
Perfect.
Probably did.
Supermodels try and get that disease all the time.
It's like just lick a shoe. You'll be sick for a while. We lost a bunch of weight one time because I got stomach flu twice in the span of like 2 months, and I lost so much weight from that. Where every once in a while we're like, man, I think it's about time I get the stomach flu again. I need to fit these pants again. I don't recommend doing that, by the way.
Not recommended by iamGEEK.
Oh my goodness. This episode of iamGEEK is sponsored by Hand, Foot, and Mouth, the fresh maker.
Doesn't sound like it's very fresh making.
Unfresh maker.
Yeah, not at all. Anyways, this is going to be one of those random episodes where we talk about random stuff. So if you like those, you'll like this one. Yeah, you're in luck. If you don't like those, then just sit down and listen.
Get over
okay.
You will like it.
We do have some interviews and stuff coming up on other episodes, but this one it's just for funsy, you know. It's we got to experience the same. On top of all this being sick, my wife and I planned on actually going on a date while my parents were here. We planned this thing in February, so we still went, even though I didn't feel good.
So
you were highly contagious.
No, that was after that stage. I just wasn't like I just still hadn't eaten anything. I was just like, I'll just go and sit. We went to see a guy named Olan Rogers, which we'll get into, but it was like at a stand-up improv place, which I've never been to. It's very interesting.
Good language and everything too.
What?
Did they have good language, like clean language?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
We went one time and it wasn't.
I expected, like, I don't know why, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit type club or something, dark, smoke-filled room.
Big gorilla bouncer.
Yeah, but it was nice, and it was like clean, and like it looked like
good.
a restaurant sort of. Anyways, we'll get into that.
Fine establishment.
But before we get it, I'm going to talk about that. Chris saw a celebrity, second row.
Wow.
Ooh,
fancy.
Little tease there. He's going to talk about his encounter with a celebrity from the second row.
From the second row.
From a distance.
We locked eyes. I was
Ooh.
there. I could feel it.
Does Jenny know?
Oh, yeah.
She was into it. Before we get to that, I saw this interview today. As like a Facebook link, how those pop up, and I sent it to you guys. And did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
All right. So Tom Holland was interviewed, and if Tom Holland is being interviewed, it's going to be a good time, because he likes to spoil everything, but not really mean to spoil everything.
Yeah, he just has no filter.
Yeah, he just sort of says what's on his mind. But there was an interview, and the question that was posed to him was, since Into the Spider-Verse was such a big hit, do you think that there'll ever be a team up with you, with Andrew Garfield, and with Tobey Maguire, all three of you, Spider-Man? And Zendaya was there, and I forget the other guy's name that's his friend in the movie.
Yeah, his best friend from the movie.
And they started laughing, and it was like, oh, wouldn't that be funny? Ha, ha, ha. And then he just looked so uncomfortable. He was like fidgeting his hands, had this weird like smirk on his face.
Yeah, he kept looking over at Zendaya. I don't know how to say. Like just kept looking to her to talk. The other guy was talking. He was like, would people really want that? Would they want that? I don't know if they want that. I mean, it'd be cool.
He didn't say a
He's
word.
trying to cover it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just tell, like, he was holding it in, like, in his head. He was like, just like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. And yeah, I mean, it looked like he knew something.
Yeah.
That we didn't.
It could just be like cameos, like just kind of like these little Easter eggs. Like there's Tobey Maguire way over there, but not really as Spider-Man. But
yeah, because there's been a petition or whatever for a while now to put Tobey Maguire in the Spider-Man movie as a pizza delivery person. which would be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
But the only thing I could think, because I don't think they'll do a live action one with all three of them, unless it's like a cameo like that.
Yeah.
But a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse with the three of them doing voices, I could definitely see happening. Because it's Sony, and I think they could get all three of them, and it's just voiceover, so it wouldn't take up all their time.
What if they show up in Far From Home? Because it's supposed to be like, the multiverse is here, and
it's true.
That'd be so cool. Like, it would have to be an all-out, battle, with all three of them together, but just like glimpses of them and their timeline. Sort of sweet.
Be cool. Maybe Jake Gyllenhaal removes his mask and it's Tobey Maguire underneath.
How they do that? He would just start dancing very, suddenly. He'd just sort of start dancing, and then he would just take the mask off, and then it would be him dancing
with his emo hair.
Yeah.
I still find it funny that in Life of Pi, like they shot the whole movie because it takes place a person telling a story to an interviewer, and originally the interviewer was Tobey Maguire, and he had this weird wig on, like he just looked odd, just way out of place, and it's just like, why is Tobey Maguire in this movie asking this guy questions in a weird wig? And like finally they just ended up just reshooting the whole thing with another actor.
Wow.
Because it was just so weird.
How funny.
I always think of that one. I think of him now.
I haven't seen Tobey Maguire in anything in a long time. Right?
He's done. I think he's done more low key things. I don't think he's.
Maybe he's been working on a Spider-Man. Maybe.
There we go. He's been writing a script. I can come back.
I can do it. So another Marvel news, I read that Hawkeye, the guy who plays Hawkeye, why am I this horrible names tonight? That's because I'm out of it. Jeremy Renner, right?
Renner. Mm-hmm.
In that beginning scene, if you haven't seen Endgame, well, too bad. Go see it. What's your problem? When his family disappears, spoiler.
Oh gosh.
That he did not know what was going on. The actor.
That's good.
Well, because they filmed them at the same time as Infinity War and Endgame was being filmed pretty much at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So he does this thing, his family disappears, and he's just looking around, like in real life, looking around like, so what's going on? Like, where am I supposed to go look for them? And he's like looking around, and he's going around looking for them. He's like, so where did they go? I don't understand where they went. Funny.
That's good though.
Did they have people just like grab the family members like behind a bush when he turned his back?
Well, I'm sure they were like, they filmed the scenes and then
camouflage. No, I think it'd be great. No, just one take, camouflage cloaks, like jumping over them, like hiding them on the ground. Like, awesome.
Somebody runs out with a jar of just ash and just like throws it in the air, and he's like, "What is that? What's going on?"
Just right in his face.
Is there a fire?
Oh man, they are bringing Endgame back out to the theaters to try to once and for all squash Avatar.
That's basically that's what they're doing.
But Avatar did the same thing to gain their throne.
Like, supposedly it'll have new footage added.
You'll have new footage and supposedly some in-credit scenes this time.
Yeah, some in-credit stuff, some kind of like outtakes or something funny or like a yeah.
So they could. I forget how many million they are away from defeating Avatar, but I hope they do. I hope they defeat it. Avatar needs to be defeated.
Yeah, it's been a while, and like I liked Avatar, but I don't like. I watched it maybe one or two more times, I guess, but that's about it. And I have
once for me.
Yeah, I've seen it once. That's it.
We only saw it one or two more times because we showed it to like our parents and my wife's parents, and so we watched it again that way. And I don't think we watched it on our own.
No,
We have it, but
it's not.
I think I saw it on TV one time, but I saw it in the theater in 3D, which was kind of cool.
That was
Mhm.
the reason it was cool.
good.
The
Yeah.
movie
Mhm.
itself. Whatever. Now Avatar Land at Pandora at Disney. Now that's cool stuff. I'll take that over the movie any day. If you can afford going to Disney, because they just raised their prices on literally everything.
Ice cream bars are now like $7 a piece. No, I'm just kidding.
I got some more. I got some
Could
those
be.
Mickey ice cream bars. Found them at the
Yes.
store.
We had
I
some
liked
too.
them. I thought they were good.
They're good. I don't think they're that much different from just a chocolate bar. Like
Well,
the
they're
ice
in the
cream
shape
bar.
of Mickey.
I got
They
some.
are,
I
but-
got some Magnum ice cream bars. It's ice cream
Does that have
and
a
chocolate.
mustache
But-
on them?
No, they're wrapped in chocolate.
With a mustache? Are they shaped like a mustache?
No.
No.
I mean, kind of, because they're.
But there were dairy free ones because I can't
Oh.
have regular ice cream,
Nobody
and
gets my
it
jokes.
was like, oh, we got it. We're just ignoring it.
Magnum PI.
Magnum PI, I got it.
We were
yeah. But there's some of the probably the best dairy free ice cream that I've had. It was so good. It was so creamy. So those out there who can't have ice cream, get your Magnum dairy
Get you
free.
some Magnums.
Or just get the Mickey bars and just deal with it afterwards.
I just
Deal with the pain.
My thing with the Mickey bars is they're good. They're fine. I'll eat them. If somebody gives them to me, I will eat them. But it's definitely not the same. Like the ice cream is not as smooth.
It's a light ice cream.
Like it's the ice cream at the parks. I mean, it's so smooth and silky.
Well,
and the
it's also
chocolate is different too.
It's
It's
dark.
also filled with cocaine, so you'll come back.
Yeah, it's a dark chocolate at the parks, and it's a milk chocolate.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference because I don't like milk chocolate that much. Yeah,
And the cocaine.
yeah.
The pixie dust.
It was a little bit
helps.
thicker too. The chocolate was a tad bit thicker because I mean it's like the way it breaks when you bite into one from the parks. It's like, oh, this is so good, But those are
Those
it's
cost
still
$12 now in the parks.
yeah, exactly. But it's a good, like, oh, I feel like I'm at Disney World. Yay!
Yeah, I like them. I ate 'em.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I gave
I'm
my
adjacent
son
Disney.
one. I'm like, you want a Mickey bar? He's like, yeah. And I left when I eat ice cream like that, I leave the wrapper on so if something falls, And I handed him with the wrapper. And he goes, I don't want this trash. He took it off. And I'm like, no, you need it. Like that's what he said. I don't want this trash. And I said, no,
Wow.
you need it on in case it falls. And he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay. And he walks over and he sits down and he's eating the whole side of the chocolate. Just falls off in his lap and he goes, I was wrong. You were right.
Yeah. Yeah, every one of those that I ate, I think I had 2 or 3 of them, but they do break. But the real ones do too in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they always kind of fall apart. But
I just love that your son has become an entitled rich person.
I don't want that
I don't-
trash. It's only like 4 years old, that's made it funny.
I think your whole house is living in the 17th century. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, so
Ash.
Disney may have outpriced me for now, as far as
Going to the park.
annual passes. Yeah, I don't think we'll be getting annual passes for a while.
You have a free place to stay, basically, but you just can't go to the park.
Yeah, I'll just go and be like, Disney Springs is our new park.
You can go do the NBA experience.
Oh.
And you could ride the gondolas.
Gondolas. You can drink all the Coke you want.
I've decided that if I ride that Skyliner, because they have windows, right? So people can see in, right?
Oh yeah. No, it's kind of a film where
Aw.
you can't really see into it, but you can
What-
see out of it.
What are you planning to do in them?
I want to take with me a Deadpool mask, Mickey ears and just ride around the Skyliner waving at people.
No, I think it's done in a way that it's to help with shading them, so that you aren't burning up in a metal box.
Somewhat
but
you
can see out. Yeah. I don't know.
So they can't see you.
I don't think they can.
Well,
God.
not worried.
Now
Now
you got other plans.
That's definitely going to happen. So I mean, that's enough to gross some people out, right? I don't know if I want to ride this because what's going on in these things? If this
can of Lysol with you,
this car's a rocking, don't come knocking.
Take a black light. Jackson Pollock.
But here's the only reason I'm mentioning the them raising the prices. They do it every year. They do it all the time. They don't care.
It was a little extreme this time.
Yeah, but the reason I mention it is because how they did it was like the shadiest thing I've ever seen. So I forget what night it was, but the night of something, or the afternoon, night, whatever, they announced that, hey, Platinum members and Premier members, or whatever, annual passes, get into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before anybody else at Walt Disney World. So make sure you have those. Not gold members. So I'm sure gold and silver are like, oh, we better, some people, not me, but some people are like, we better, switch over to the more expensive one so we can go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge first. So they do that night. In the middle of the night, they announce the price hike.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the next morning when people woke up, it was like, gotcha. If you want to go to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before anybody else, now you got to pay the price. And the price is very, very, very steep.
So $1,120 for a premiere or something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You better be living there.
I mean, the Florida residence ones are still under that, like $600 something, right? Or they're not too bad, right?
No, they're more than that, I think.
I don't know. I thought I was.
The gold ones, because we can get the golds with DVC, and the gold one is only available for DVC or Florida residents.
Yeah,
and it's more than that.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. I had the prices, but then I don't know what happened to them.
But if you can't go all the time, then it's not worth it, right? I mean, there is a break even. Like if you figure it out, and it's like that's going a lot to make it worth, because it's $125 on average to go for a day to Disney World. Unless you get if you just go one day, that's how much it is, right? But if you go for a expanded time, it gets a little bit cheaper. But so those passes have gone up a little bit, but it's probably not as bad. But that.
It's like they're pricing families out of stuff because if you think about it's if you're going on a family vacation, it's not just that one. And you say, okay, we're gonna get passes or we're gonna get whatever. It's not for just one person. It's usually like a family of 4.
Yeah,
and that's just like it's almost like for right now they've stopped gearing towards this is a magical place for families to go, and more like this is a magical place for super fans of IPs to come and live their dream in Star Wars Land or Marvel Land, because they're doing that in Disneyland. And because what family is going to be like, let's pay all this money to go to Disney, and then while we're there, let's buy each of us a $200 lightsaber, and then let's do this and let's. It's geared towards YouTubers and super fans, because the YouTubers are free advertising, so they're like, pump up the price. They're going to advertise for us.
It's crazy to me to think that when I was young growing up, we didn't go to Disney World or Disneyland, any of those, because I always thought that was for the rich people, and it was unreachable for me, and it wasn't interesting to me as a kid because it just wasn't part of our lifestyle. So things changed when I got to be an adult, and Ryan shined the light for me. Took me the first time in 2002, but But to think about how much it cost back then, it's nothing compared. Like even
Oh,
when we
yeah.
went in 2002, I think I spent $50 on the ticket. $54, I think I spent for a
Oh,
1-day ticket.
the first time I think we
Mhm.
got annual passes, we got the big annual passes, and it was like $300.
Yeah,
Was it for a year?
yeah.
$300 for a year. I'm like, oh, that's
Now
thinking about that
Dollywood,
now. I'm like,
yeah, Dollywood for a season pass was like $24 when I was a kid, and now of course a day is like $80 there or something. You
Yeah.
know, it's expensive,
Yeah.
but or whatever it is. But it's just so funny to think about. Oh, I'll never go there.
Yeah.
And it was cheap then. I wish I had gone.
I know. Well, just think about when the Walt Disney World's 50th hits.
Oh gosh,
Ticket
I-
prices
oh,
are going to
jeez.
I
be
just don't understand.
ridiculous.
And here's my biggest complaint though about all this is I don't really know a Disney World, Walt Disney World, without construction.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
appreciate new things, but at some point it's like, can I please just see the castle without something in front of it, or see the main street without scrim on it, or see this part of whatever? And every once in a while you get these nice views, but it seems like they're always doing something, and it just kind of stinks for as much as we're paying. It's like I just want to see it how it's supposed to look.
A lot of that's
You know?
because of the world we live in. I
Oh, I
want
know.
something new. I want it now. And it's like,
But I don't.
oh, I know. We don't.
Yeah.
But it's like, what new thing's coming? Oh,
I
let's,
don't really think
what new
people
things
do.
coming? Well,
People would still go.
people would still go, but if you look at YouTube,
Sure.
it's just
Yeah.
like all these YouTubers have sort of made that culture. Love the YouTubers, but they've made that culture where I'm going to be the first one there to get you the footage so you can see it, so you're going to want to come to it. And Disney's like, yes, do it. Do it. I mean,
Come to the dark side.
yeah. I mean, even Universal's doing that with the new Hagrid ride. People waited 10 hours
That's
Crazy.
ridiculous.
to ride a little roller coaster.
Yeah, I saw footage of it. It's nothing special.
No.
Like, it's a typical. I mean, it's not even like
Yeah.
a really great roller coaster.
It's
It looks
supposedly
like
the longest roller coaster in Florida.
Wow.
Or something
It
like
didn't even
that.
look that long. Like, I don't know. There was like a couple animatronics.
10,
Yeah, it didn't.
10 hours. Like, what in your
That's
mind
crazy.
when you go to a theme park and you see a 10-hour wait goes, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. So basically, a lot of those people were people filming it or wanting to be the first ones on it.
Mhm.
I don't think it's many of the, we're on vacation. What do you want to do today? Let's wait in line for 10 hours.
Let's spend all of our money to
That's
stand in
what
a
I
line.
I just save my money. I stand in line like at home.
Huh.
Saves a lot. It's
So-
just me, Jenny, and two cats in a line.
If you don't want to wait in line for a lot of rides, go to Walt or Disneyland, because everybody is in Galaxy's Edge and none of the other rides have lines. You can literally walk onto anything right now. It's so crazy.
I still think,
At least from what I've
yeah.
seen. I don't know. Maybe
I
it's
still
changed.
think with these new rides like Hagrid's and like when Flight of Passage that they control the lines. They know if we get a 10-hour wait, we're going to be all over the news. So
Sure.
let's see how long people will wait.
It's gonna make the demand even more,
Yeah.
because
If
it's
they
like,
will
it must
wait-
be great.
Yeah, if they will wait 10 hours, then on a normal day, they will wait 2 hours. You know? Because they're like,
Which,
oh, it's not
I
that
don't-
bad. It's only 2 hours because it was 10 hours.
What's the longest y'all have ever waited on a ride? Do you remember? For me, it was I think the longest I've ever waited, and I don't even think it was this long, but it said 70 minutes. It was for Soarin' when it was new. It was 70 minutes. We're like, okay, let's do it. And it was maybe 30 minutes or so. I mean, or maybe an hour. I don't know, but I think that's the longest I've ever.
I don't remember how long it was, but it was the longest wait I think we've ever done. Like as a family, we went to Universal Islands of Adventure for the Spider-Man ride. Like the first time we went there, and it was kind of a newer ride, and it kept
Sure.
breaking down.
Oh gosh.
And we kept waiting in line. We're like, we really want to ride this. It's Spider-Man. And it just kept breaking down. And we wait longer. then be up, and then be break down again.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many times.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So many times.
I was going to say that's because that's what I remember. For the long times I've waited, you've been in a line for so long, and it's like, and they keep saying it's going to open soon, and you're like, okay, it's going to open. We've already waited this long, and might as well wait longer. But I couldn't do that today. Like physically, I couldn't do that today.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't have to. Which will be interesting to see how they do Galaxy's Edge with no fast passes and no. I don't guess they're doing reservations besides the annual premiere, annual pass, or whatever, platinum annual pass for the pre-opening. But it may be mass chaos, or I'll see in September.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
No. Well, you'll be there, but
it's like, what do you know?
Maybe you won't.
Good. What other 17th century plague are you gonna get?
We'll get into the plague. Oh well. Anyway, that's Disney.
That's
Disney. So Chris, you had an adventure last night, right?
I did.
There we go. Let's move on.
You wanted to hear about it?
No, we don't need to hear. We don't need to hear.
Okay. Okay, no, that's fine then. No, we went to see a show, a stage show, a live stage show of Hugh Jackman. Huge jacked man. That is what he is. A huge jacked man. He is in good shape still. I wouldn't necessarily say Wolverine like shape, but he was still like in really good shape. All the ladies at least seem to think so. So basically he's doing like a live stage show, traveling around the world. Because he started out in like musical theater, did all that. He was the first Gaston in Beauty and the Beast live stage show. Basically he'd come out, he would kind of talk a little bit about his past, kind of humorous anecdotes and stuff like that. Then he'd do songs from like things that he's been in, like Les Mis, Greatest Showman. He won a Tony portraying, I think it was Peter Allen. And like the Man from Oz or something like that. So he did some songs from that. But it was fun. It was one of the better like musical events I've gone to. It was just so good. He talked about like X-Men. He'd said that he didn't really talk about this much, but like the first few weeks, like after the first few weeks of filming, he was approached by the producers and the director separately, and they were both like, "Yeah, like I don't know if this is working. We're just not seeing like what we saw in the audition. Is like you're a lamp and you got like a shade over you." And he was just like really depressed. He's like, I'm going to lose this. It's better jeopardy. But like, I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I've read the comics. I don't know what to do. And like went home and like told his wife, and he's just like, I was just like going off on everybody and everything. And she's just like, just be yourself. Just do what you think is right. And he went back and did that. And then he's been Wolverine for like 20 years or something like that. But
that's the clip. I saw the clip that you had on Facebook of that, but I missed what it was, and I was like, "What's he talking about?" It was Wolverine.
Yeah, I would try to film stuff, or like, but I didn't want to film the whole time. But then, like, he started talking about something, I was like, "Oh, I need to film this," and I tried to film it. So there were bits and pieces I'd missed and stuff.
I'm surprised they let you film.
Yeah, I was too. Like, they didn't seem to care as long as you weren't doing flash photography. They were fine. But he had like dancers with him and some singers with him. The lead choreographer woman that was with him was also in The Greatest Showman, so she was up there dancing with him. He had a full orchestra. The drummer, it was interesting. He brought up the drummer. He had played for Whitney Houston's mom, Whitney Houston, I believe, and he was also the drummer as Animal from the Muppets.
I saw the puppet thing.
Yeah.
Was the dude like 95 years old or something?
Yeah, he would nod off at times, but he was fine. But it's crazy. I mean, he did a bunch of numbers. He did stuff that like movies like that he just liked growing up. He like sang "Singing in the Rain" and stuff like that. And at one point, he brought out his tap shoes, like he talked about as a kid. He was told by a teacher that he had a gift for dance. They don't teach dance at the school, but there's a school that will do it. That he should go and audition or go there and get lessons. Went home, talked to his dad, and his dad's like, yeah, I can do that. But then his brother was like, oh, you want to be a sissy, huh? He's like, I'm not a sissy. I don't want to be a sissy. So he didn't go. Then like a few years later, like they went to see a musical, and there was a bunch of dancing in it. And after the musical, his brother was like, I'm so sorry. I did you wrong. You should be up there. You should be doing this. So he went and started that. And then he did this big tap dance number with some classical stuff. And then he went into a bunch of like big rock songs with it, like thunder, boom, 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 that thing.
Huh. How's it go?
You know, that thunder, boom, 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 boom.
That's what thunder sounds like.
Yeah, and it went wild from there. Like they brought out these drums, and he had the drumsticks, and he was beating it turned into like stomp almost. He was doing all that. And right at the end of that, he took the two drumsticks in his hands, like pointing out from the middle of his hands, and did a big Wolverine stance with them, and like swiped back and forth. The audience went wild. He apparently he was saying Dallas was the best audience. You know.
Oh, I'm sure.
He was saying Houston thought that they were going to be the best, so we had to like show them up, and of course we did. I mean.
Because he was.
Because
he does that at every show.
That's what they said. No,
Austin thought they were the biggest. Houston, you guys are loud.
He said Dallas was. So.
I'm sure he
right,
did.
but he probably said that.
His son was born here, so it has a special place in his heart. That night, yeah, on stage.
On stage,
it was amazing.
So I have to ask. I don't want the Dallas answer. I want the honest answer here. Was it a little cheesy?
It had some cheese to it, definitely. I mean, it's a cheese you would expect for something like that, but it was fun cheesy.
Because I watched some of the video clips that you sent, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cheesy. Like you'd be like telling the story, like, oh, and this happened, and then all of a sudden he would just sort of like turn around and start tickling the ivories a little bit on the piano.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then that's how this came to be. And it's like, okay.
It was like a big musical number, like, and I don't really like musicals and stuff like that, but it was fun. It was done in kind of a fun, playful way. Like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but we're just gonna have some fun.
Right.
But it was good. I liked it. He did like some Les Mis stuff. I don't like Les Mis whatsoever, but they sang it really well. And then he came out like in character as Peter Allen, who was very flamboyant. He's an old school music talent. He wrote a bunch of songs for like Broadway.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, that Peter Allen.
And he's very flamboyant. He came he came out of this sequined like shirt thing that like you could like when the light hit it, you could see all the spots of light all across like the stadium, just bouncing off of his shirt. And in character like that, he went out to the audience. And he grabbed this one guy. He's like, "There's two people I want to go talk to out here. I noticed what they're wearing, and I want to ask them some questions." And he went to this one guy. He was a bigger guy. He had like a short sleeve kind of like dress shirt on, like you wear to the beach or something, and shorts. He's like, so you really got dressed up to come to the theater tonight, didn't you? It's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. It was very funny. And then there was an older guy that was, ha, 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 ha. There's an older guy, like, in a tuxedo. Like, he was dressed to the nines. Like, him and his wife, they're older couple. Like, you could tell, like, they're from that generation. You get dressed up when you come to stuff like this.
Yeah.
And he brought them both up on stage. Turns out the one guy just in the shorts, he's an airline pilot, and the older guy was an insurance salesman. But he's like, I have a theory that based on how you're dressed is how you dance. And the guy in shorts is like, I don't dance. He's like, my point exactly. And they started playing this merengue music or whatever, and he's trying to get him to dance. And the older guy was like busting a move up there, dancing around, and Hugh Jackman got up on the other guy, and he was kind of like, I wouldn't say grinding, but he was like, kind of thrusting his pelvis and stuff like that. And then suddenly, like that guy in shorts started like doing the same thing right at him, and it was hilarious.
There you go.
He's a big guy doing some moves he probably shouldn't be doing, but it was funny. In front of a huge audience, a huge jacked audience. But yeah, it was good. It was nice. It was really fun. All the Greatest Showman songs were really great. I'm a fan of the Greatest Showman because all the dance numbers they did with it was just spectacular. It was like straight from the movie and things like that.
Oh.
At one point, when he was singing on the piano, he looked straight at Jenny, pointed and smiled at her.
Did
She
he,
got
or
that
was
on
he looking
camera.
at you?
He was probably looking at me.
Depends on who you're telling the story to.
Yeah, I mean, but we had really good. I mean, we were second row, so we were right there. So we had a really good view of the whole show.
That's cool.
So it was cool.
Good.
The important question is, did you get a T-shirt?
I didn't get a T-shirt.
Did they have T-shirts?
They had T-shirts with Hugh Jackman's face on it, and I was like, I don't think I need a Hugh Jackman face on a shirt. I think I'm good.
If they had his other side, you may have gotten one.
Yeah, because he shook it. I got a picture of that.
I'll tell you what.
I got me a picture of that thing. Hughley.
Were they selling like Wolverine blades that were sequined?
No, they shouldn't.
Missed opportunity.
Yep. I cannot think of like the production costs they must have had on this. All the royalties they paid for all the songs and stuff he did.
Hugh Jackman can do what he wants.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He's a Renaissance man.
Speaking of production, on the other hand, what I saw. No, are you done? Is there more?
No, that's. I would definitely recommend it if he's coming to a town near you.
It won't be as good as Dallas because they're the best, but
we're the best. I can't. I mean, his trumpet player was from Dallas, and he's like show how sexy Dallas is, and he played his trumpet sexily. And, sexily. That's how you do with trumpets. So we're the best. I'm sorry, everybody else out there. Like every show is just going to be downhill from here.
Wow.
But go see it.
Go see it anyways.
It won't be as good.
It'll be okay. So my guy that I saw was not as famous as Hugh Jackman, and he did not have the production as Hugh Jackman. His name's Olan Rogers, and not Olin Mills. Is
not Nolan Ryan.
No, Olan Rogers. He's a YouTube guy. That's where he started. Now he has a animated series on TBS, Final Space. Which, if you haven't watched Final Space, watch Final Space. It is that good.
It is funny.
Yeah, so season 2 comes out soon, and pretty much what I figured out by the end of it was this was a tour to promote the new season of Final Space. So it was supposed to start at 7:30. Doors opened at 6:30. It was supposed to start at 7:30. 2 food minimum or something like that there, which I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, I gotta buy something to eat. I'm not eating anything. I have no appetite, so I got like chips.
Oh.
I had some ice.
And a Pepsi. Yeah. Yeah, the waiter made a big deal. I drank the Pepsi, and he's like, "Oh, you want a refill?" I'm like, or he goes, "What did you have, Pepsi?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he brought another one. He goes, "Usually it's $1 for refills, but I gave you one for free." And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, he liked you.
I'm like, "Thanks."
Did he put a number like on the bottom of the glass when you got through drinking it? Like,
Like
did
his
you
phone
see
number?
like a number, his phone number written in there?
No, it's he did whisper that
okay.
in my ear.
Oh,
867.
Anyways, so the venue was nice. It was just a little stage. The sound system was probably the sound system I have in my office right now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that great of a sound system. But anyway, so he was supposed to be there it was supposed to start at 7:30. Well, he was coming from the greatest city in the world, I guess, Dallas,
exactly.
and was an hour late because of air travel from Dallas to Houston. It was rainy that day, and for some reason, I guess because it's such a short flight, they don't get up high enough, so they don't get over the weather. So they have to fly through weather. So he was supposed to be there like I think early that morning. He didn't get there till like basically got there, drove straight to the venue. So it didn't start till a little after 8:30. Which he had a big story about that. He's a storyteller. That's what the guy is. That's why I like him. One of the best storytellers I heard. So I thought a night of storytelling. This is going to be awesome, and it was fun and it was good. And I don't know if it was because of the delay, but he got so. Guess how many stories for a normal stand-up. They tell jokes, but guess how many stories he told?
500.
7.
He told like 3 stories.
Oh.
I was slightly off.
He got up. He told a story. I guess you would count it a story about getting from Dallas to Houston, which was funny. But then he told a story that I basically told one of his YouTube videos. He just told that story. And then he said, I'm going to tell a ghost story. And he goes, anybody got a ghost story? I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, he doesn't have enough material, does he? So this guy raises his hand, and when you think of ghost story, you think of, ooh, So the first guy that raises his hand, it's like, one time I looked out a window and I saw this white dog, and then I looked back out the window and there was a black dog. And he's like, are you serious? So he played it up
the
like,
guy high? Like, what?
Yeah, he was like, I'm so glad we heard that story. Like, he was like being funny. And there was like a bunch. He goes, anybody else? And I guess he was waiting for somebody to tell a good story. I mean, there was like 5 people that told stories. And then I was like, oh wait, I have a ghost story, but it was too late by that time. So he tells his ghost story, and usually his stories like have beginning, middle, and end. He told the story, and then it was just over. Like there was no ending to the story. He was just like, and then there may have been a ghost in the house, and that was it. And then he goes, but the next story is about a demon. He goes, anybody got any scary ghost stories? And I'm like, no, you're not doing this again.
Oh no!
He asked for more stories from the audience that I did not pay to listen to the audience.
Yeah.
One lady told a story about going to a friend's house, and there was some kind of shadow demon dogs that they saw upstairs. The story was better than the other ones. So I'm like, oh, here we go. He's going to tell a story. And then he goes, anybody else? And I'm like, and Jennifer, my wife, goes, over here.
Oh no!
He goes, oh, there must be a good one over here. So I got up and told a story to the master storyteller himself, which I thought was cool. But again, it's like you just had like 7, 8 people tell us stories when you're supposed to be telling stories. So I told the story. I think I've told on the show before about our grandmother seeing the guy walk down the hill by the house, immediately getting a phone call that he had just died. But I told the story like a storyteller would tell a story, and the audience, I was like, oh, I've got the audience, in the palm of my hands. Like they were going, oh, they were like, ooh. It's like, oh no. And like they were into it. I was like surprised. I'm like, I haven't had food in like, days, and I'm sitting here standing up in front of everybody. Yeah, tell the story. But no, they were like really into it. And then and he was like into it. He's like, oh my goodness. And then so I get to the end of the story and he's like, he goes, well, this stinks. He goes, that was like Robert Frost story, and I'm going to tell you like a Spencer Gift story. He's like, I don't even know if I should tell my story now. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Did you ask him if he would be on the show?
Well, there was a meet and greet afterwards,
favor.
but I was feeling so bad. I'm like, I got to go. Like there was like everybody in the venue wanted to meet him, and it was sold out. Anyway, so then he told like 1 or 2 more stories. He told the demon story about this stool that sat in his room, and then he would see this like wolf eyes looking at him in the middle of the night. He's a good storyteller. I won't go into the story. You can probably look it up on YouTube. Told like a couple more stories, and then he was like, so you guys fans of Final Space? And of course, everybody there was like, yeah. And you guys want to see the first episode of the 2nd season?
Ooh.
And everybody's like, yeah. And he's like, let's watch it. And he goes, go ahead, turn it on. And they turn on like a baseball game accidentally. And he's like, well, that went a different direction than I thought it was going to. So the production value wasn't quite there. But then we watched a full episode. So basically he told a couple stories, and then we watched a 20-minute TV show. And Jennifer had never seen the show and didn't really know who Olan Rogers was that much. And so at the end of that, his friend gets up that came with them and said, okay, we're going to do meet and greets in the back. It's like, thanks for coming. And Jennifer's like, what the? I just spent this money and this time to watch a TV show? And I'm like, but it's like a never before seen. Like it's I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
That he showed
She'd
it.
really hate Comic-Con.
Yeah. So she did not. She said it was fun, but she goes, I paid too much to hear him tell a couple of stories and then watch a cartoon. And she goes, do you want to meet him? And I'm like, I mean, if we were first in line, I would, but I was about ready to pass out by that time. And I'm like, let's just go. So we just left. But yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. But it did feel rushed. I wonder if there was a time limit and they're like, you're an hour late, so cut your show in half or something. But if he was going to cut his show in half, he should have just told the stories and not had the audience tell him stories.
Well, he needed new material. He was looking.
So if we see a video of him talking about his grandmother, seeing a dead guy walk down the hill, then we know where he got that from.
Yeah. It's gonna be a new episode of Final Space.
That'd be something.
Season 3.
That would be something. So it was fun, but it got me thinking about like you saw Hugh Jackman, who's a big celebrity film guy. I saw a YouTuber on stage. It seems like there's a lot of people doing this now, whether it's actors or YouTubers, are starting these stage shows. Rhett and Link's doing it. They're coming to Houston in September, and we thought about going to see him, but I'm just sort of like, especially after this show, I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to give them more money. Because we saw them, you and I saw them live.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
It was fun until they slapped us with a copyright thing for having fun filming part of it. Even though there was no signs that said not to. Anyway, sorry. I've just seen like a lot of that. There's all these YouTubers starting their own tours. I guess it's the latest latest craze. I don't know, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a way for them to make more money. I mean, they can only do so much on YouTube, and I'm sure like you can get premium prices doing a stage show.
Yeah.
And they probably, I mean, the
Well, and
expense for them probably isn't too much.
I think a lot of people want to see the people that they see or hear on maybe on YouTube or podcasts or different things, see them in real life, and that's a celebrity to a lot of people, which is weird because in a way we become celebrities in our own right in some ways. You know, people might get excited to see Ryan because
he's the next Robert Frost.
Yeah,
you know it. People
but
we were beating him off with a stick at Comic Palooza.
Well,
yeah. Like crossbones.
Oh.
I was thinking specifically of Ray's daughter. Like that's like,
oh yeah, that is cool. Yeah, she's like, oh, he's a celebrity.
But I mean, it's still, it's like we have a decent number of listeners, not a ton, but it's, a decent number. It's like there's people we don't even know that probably listen to the show, and that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And they would be thrilled to meet us, I would think. There's shows I listen to that I would be like, oh man, that'd be neat to meet those people or see them, live. And it's like you get to be near those people, and so I think it's good, and that's why it works, because people want to kind of be closer to them. Like people would go crazy if the Tim Tracker did a stage show. I mean, he's out in the public all the time, so it's not like you can't just go see him, in public. But I mean, if he did a stage show, people would go because they love this stuff.
You know what his stage show would be? Tim, if you're listening, you're probably not, but if you are, you can have this. His stage show would be like bathroom renovation. He would just like teach you how to renovate a bathroom on stage. And that would be a show, and people would love it, and it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Just doing whatever. Yeah. Like they could sit on a couch and just talk. People would love it.
Yeah, I'm fine with like people doing that, but definitely like make sure it's a show. Like you have enough material, like enough that's entertaining. You're not just repeating stuff that you've done online. Because Rhett and Link, I mean, they kind of repeated some things, but they had enough kind of new kind of fun stuff that made it worth it. So because if you don't have enough, then just go like be a guest at some comic convention thing and like sign stuff to meet people.
Yeah. So what you're saying is don't have your audience at the show tell the stories for you.
Yes, don't do that. That's a no-no.
But I get to tell a story, so that's cool.
I've been to a couple of comic shows, and I saw Mitch Hedberg in Nashville before he passed, and it was weird because I think he was in a dark place, but he just had his head kind of down the whole time with his hair coming over his face, and he pretty much just told the jokes he normally does, and you're just like, okay, I have the CDs, I've heard all these jokes, And then we saw Jeff Dunham with the ventriloquist dummies,
nice.
That, and I mean, we knew most of the gags, and there was new stuff, there was some new things, but it was good, but again, it was kind of like it was cool just being closer to that person.
Yeah, it's fun.
But yeah.
And with that, we're announcing right now here on the show our fall tour dates for iamGEEK Live.
Yeah.
Where you make the show.
Where you make the show.
We'll be at Chili's on.
We're not even gonna be there. Just show up and do your own entertainment.
Let's do it.
Sponsored by Chili's.
The Fresh Maker.
The Fresh Maker.
I'm not a fan of Chili's anymore.
I don't like it.
Yeah, they changed their menu so much. It's just like not good anymore.
So a coworker of mine got a free hamburger from there. He had some kind of DoorDash coupon and ended up being a free hamburger. I said, check how many calories are in that hamburger. It was 1,200 calories for the hamburger. And, 2,000 is like your normal, what you should, more than what you should probably do. But I just, at some point they changed the way they do things, and it's like everything is so salty. I just can't eat there. But it's just not as good to me. But I used to love Chili's.
I'm that way with Which now. That was like my favorite sandwich place. But they've changed it though. Like they took away like the sandwich that I really like to get, and they changed the meatball into this huge concoction of everything Italian that they could think of.
That's what a meatball is.
It's like, it's just like is it Italian? Do they eat it in Italy? Yes, put it in the sandwich.
Put it in there.
And it's too much. And yeah, and they used to have cookies that they would make and heat up there like on the spot.
Yeah.
And they were so good, and they got rid of them. They're just packaged cookies now.
Well, that stinks. We don't have one here, but every time we go to Nashville, we'd eat at Which because that was our favorite. But I remember the last time we ate at one. It was in a mall somewhere, and it just wasn't the same for some reason. So yeah, I can see that.
Boo.
Boo.
What other restaurants do you hate?
What can we come down on?
Oh, well, you want to so I'm a big we talked about Rhett and Link. I'm a big Good Mythical Morning fan, and they've gotten sort of like that recently, where it's like they've run out of stuff to do. Like the past few episodes have been like, which is better, Outback or Longhorn Steakhouse? Let's test their food and find out. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
So
their new thing that they do on the weekends right now with Chef Josh is fun.
Is it? I watched one. I'm not a big fan of him.
Okay, I kind of like it where he takes something that's absolutely disgusting and makes something good out of it.
Why I don't care for him is he had this big Twitter rant thing. I was just like, good gracious, dude. I mean, you're just a chef on a YouTube show, you know? Anyways, enough being mean.
Well, I have one more. Did you all see the...
Hold on, a little bit more
This isn't that bad. This is more funny. Did you all see the Stranger Things Burger King hamburger?
It's just the burger flipped upside down.
Yeah, like they didn't even like flip the condiments. I mean, they just totally took it and
turned it over.
It's like, we have this great idea. It's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Upside down hotcakes.
That's right.
But you know what's gonna be funny is when they don't have it anymore, and somebody's gonna go, "You got any of those upside down Whoppers?" And they're like, "Hold on,
of course they do.
Of course they do." Here you go.
They're never gonna be. Here's your upside down. Oh crap! Just poured your milkshake all over you.
It's $2 extra though.
Now, what is it? Dairy Queen. They have the thing where it can always be upside down. So that could work.
That always gets on my nerves. Every time I get a Blizzard, I don't get them that often, but they're like, if they got the thing, to like start to hand it to you and turn it upside down. I'm like, come on. Somebody's gonna grab that when you do that, and it's gonna go everywhere.
I saw in Disneyland, I guess, or Disney World, I don't know, the Guardians of the Galaxy food that they put out.
Yeah, it's Disney World. It's disgusting.
That burger looks like it's been sitting like somewhere for like months.
I commented on that. Somebody posted it, and I'm like, is that the I Am Mold burger? Because it's like it was supposed to be like a tie-dye bun, and the bun looks like a molded bun.
Well, that's what tie-dye would look like. Yeah.
It looks disgusting. I would not eat that.
A lot of their food stuff they're bringing out special. It's like, I don't know about that. Don't know about that.
That's why they started putting alcohol in all the things so you could eat it.
I guess. Yeah. Even like the Galaxy's Edge food, I'm looking at it like,
yeah.
No, I'm good.
Well, especially the prices too. Like that stupid blue milk. It's like, wow, I don't know. I'm not gonna buy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend $7.
There was I watched this guy, and we got to end, but there's this guy named Justin Scard, Random Land, and he does Disney videos and a bunch of videos around. And he was comparing the blue milk and the green milk. he's like, the blue milk, it's okay. It's pretty good. And he's like, the green milk. He's like, he takes a sip of it. He's like, oh, that's disgusting. He's like, the blue milk is sort of like, the original trilogy. It was like, but he's like, the more you drink it, you're like, that's pretty good. Or he goes, it's good. It's good. And he goes, and the green milk, it's a lot like, I don't know, The Last Jedi. And he goes, you take a sip and you're like, I don't know, I'll drink some more and see if it gets better. You drink some more and you're like, it's still not good. Let me try it again. Nope, it's horrible. And then he throws it in the trash can. He's with us and his views of The Last Jedi. Yeah. It was hilarious how he was describing it, because he was like, it was like the perfect description of it. He's like, the blue milk is good, it's good. He's like, and then the green milk. So, so that's it. I guess this is an episode where we complained about stuff. Mm-hmm. This is the Old Man Geek episode.
Except for Hugh Jackman, he's perfect.
In every way.
And Dallas. Dallas is perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, so coming up on iamGEEK, we have been invited to an escape room to check out. So I will be going to an escape room. Katrin and Chris will not be here with us. They want us to come check it out, review it. So we're going to have some escape room fun coming up. Our good buddies from Sideline Warning want to come back on the show. They're starting a new podcast. I forget what it's called. I'm sure Dave's listening. He's like, it's like something about, I don't know, I need to look it up, I guess. Something about, I don't want to say separated at birth, because I know that's not right. Their new podcast, Separated at Birth.
No, that's what they got to be called now.
Yeah. I don't see it. I'm sorry, Dave. Unrelated at Birth. So it must be another podcast about Alabama. No, that would be Related at Birth.
That would be related.
Just kidding, Dave. But they want to come back on and do another super show, so they'll probably be back on. But then we have some other guests lined up, and Chris is getting the vault ready, hopefully.
I'm trying to pry it open again.
Pry it open. Get some animals.
Yeah, I forgot the combination, but I'm getting it worked out. Got a safe cracker coming in.
Safe cracker.
Did you tell our friend Dorian that since he's coming over to your side, that's part of his contract? He has to come back on the show?
Okay, yeah. I'll let him know.
Do that. All right. But I hope you had a fun time goofing off with us on this random episode of iamGEEK. And we will be talking with you next week, as long as I don't get the plug again.
Plug?
Plug?
Plague. I'm all stopped up. Plague. Maybe I have another plague right now. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week on I Am Geek.